Hello, mortals, and welcome back to the Olympus Coliseum, where Zeus will grant you entry into the games. No, Zeus doesn't do that, but anyway. Hey everybody, this is Double RPG, and welcome to another episode of Double RPG Let's Play with Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep on the PSP. In today's episode, we're going to get into the preliminary games for the Olympus Coliseum, and then we are going to fight this world's boss. It will be a familiar face, and you will see why. So anyway, we are making our way over to the Coliseum, where we're going to be introduced to Zeus. I mean, not Zeus. What am I talking about? We're introduced to Hades once more.
All I need is one measly warrior tough enough to give Zeus a jolt of his own medicine. Wait. Dark, moody, powerful? Yes.
Out of all the Disney villains out there, I would have to say, for the modern times, that the voice of Hades has to be the best Disney villain.
Pains me to see it.
I mean, the guy is just, like, so very cunning with his own words that you can hardly see that he is a very evil man, because it almost sounds like he's, you know, sympathetic, he gives you riddles, but underneath those flames of his, he is one dastardly evil cookie.
Is inside everybody. Nothing to be ashamed of. You play nice with it, and darkness will be your best friend.
You see what I mean?
You go and get all self-conscious and refuse to face it. The
I mean, how can you trust a guy like that, you know, just telling you all that stuff, when he already looks evil anyway?
That's right, kid. You got the potential to conquer the darkness inside you.
But still, you can't help but, you know, just enjoy the guy's speech. I mean, it's kind of the same thing how many people like the voice of Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I mean, you just can't help but laugh at his performance because it's so cunning.
You sign up for the games. I know. Please, Lord Hades, the games, but hey, you would be...
Yes, we are going into the games just like Hades instructed us to. But sadly, going into the games is not going to give us the tournament feature. The place to give us the tournament feature is the Mirage Arena, and I think I'll be talking about that in another video, but we'll see. I don't think we have to fight any unversed when we're out here before we go into the games, which is kind of a shame. I know you can do it with Ventus and Aqua, but not for Terra. But wait a minute, I think you can, but you have to leave outside the Coliseum and go back into town, and then you'll be able to fight some unversed there. And then you can come back here, and then you can fight against unversed here, so yeah. And now we're going into the vestibule, where we are going to get the map of the place, and then we are going to ask Hades for his help, or somewhat his help.
When are you going to tell me how to conquer the darkness?
Hold your chariot horses. You would not believe the bureaucracy involved with these things. Name?
Terra.
Kind of earthy, but all right.
Kind of earthy. Terra means earth in Latin. Yeah, that actually does, in case of those of you who haven't figured it out. The name Terra means earth in Latin, the name Ventus means wind in Latin, and the name Aqua means water in Latin.
Sweet, really. And hey, by the time you win,
and if you had been paying attention to most of the Final Fantasy games, they have strong Latin references in there, kind of like the music for when you're riding on chocobos and that kind of stuff. And now we're in the preliminary rounds to where before we have to fight against this world's boss. And we had to fight in 10 rounds for us to get through. And to get through these rounds a little bit faster, what you want to do is you want to use Ven's D-Link ability to make things go a little bit quicker. I know it comes in really handy when you play as, you know, either Terra or Aqua, but yeah, you need to make a priority in case if you want to get through the preliminaries fast without wasting any time, because if you fight an enemy for quite some time, like when you get up to the bigger level, or to the to the later rounds where there's like a huge barrage of enemies that you'll have a tough time facing, yeah, that's when you're going to want to use Ventus. Like I'm using Ventus right now, and you want to keep hitting enemies very fast, and you want to use that that finishing command to finish off your enemies very fastly. And make sure that it's still on there throughout the whole battle, because it will save you in the long run. And there I'm using the Payback Fang on that enemy. It's one of the only enemies where it makes it viable to use that ability in case they knock you back like that. Now, here's the enemies that I can't hate, the ones that will automatically just guard against themselves in case they take too much damage. But using the air dive finish command, with Ventus's D-Link, that'll always do the job to, make things a little bit easier. But yeah, you see what I mean. And here within this battle, we had all red, blue, and yellow pots come together for this barrage. So yeah, those are all the pots in the game that you can fight against. And here we have some more of these enemies, and they're you want to be careful with them, because you only have two. You can only hit them twice when you hit them in the back. If you try to hit them a third time, your attack will just parry off of them, and that will leave you susceptible to getting damaged by them. So yeah, a little tip for those of you to watch out in the later battles. So. And we have leveled up, and we got a strength increase, which is always good for Terra. Some more of these crummy cowards, the ones who hit the wind slicers. Well, I'd say it's okay for us because we're using that ability, and that made us win that round. And now here we are with round 10, which is the final round, where we have to destroy this huge barrage of Unverse, which is pretty easy because they're usually in clusters, and we'll fight them again later on when we get over to Neverland, and you'll see why. And we won the preliminaries, and we got a maximum HP increase, which is always good, and we got the Sonic Impact ability, which is always a nice touch, which is another action command that will allow us to slide repeatedly to knock back our enemies. Next up is the final.
Okay, this is
Yep.
not what I had in mind. But hey, I can improvise. Time for Plan Beta.
Pardon me, coming through. I'm gonna miss my match.
Hello.
And looks like that's the sound of a familiar character that we know
Hey,
from
kid.
back 2 years
Come
ago.
here. Come here.
Or almost 3 years ago, if you count the time when Crisis Core was released.
Once I've conquered the darkness in my heart, I'll never have to fear it again.
And that is a familiar sword that he's carrying, because that was mostly the one that we used before we got the Buster Sword in Crisis Core. But yeah, the mysterious soldier who we're fighting against, that is the boss of this world, and we had to fight against him twice. He's pretty cunning, boss, and you want to make sure that you use a D-Link ability, kind of like Ven's D-Link, just to make things go faster. And trust me, it'll make all worth the while. But I don't think we're going to be using it in this battle because, since we're playing on normal mode, we won't have that much difficulty. But if you were to fight him in a at a harder difficulty like Crazy or Proud or Critical mode, then yeah, you're going to be wanting to use that D-Link to its content. Can't escape. I think it's you that can't escape there, man. Yeah, he'll usually dodge that. And you want to make sure you do dodge that. I think that was supposed to be the limit beam, if I'm not mistaken, but his own variation. And we won against that battle, and but the battle is not over yet. And his helmet came off.
Huh?
And look who it is. It is Zach Fair from Crisis Core. And that is Rick Gomez playing his voice. And as you could tell, he is being manipulated by Hades.
What's gotten into him?
It's not me.
What?
I'm not doing this.
He's being controlled.
Sure, his body may be taking over, but his mind is still intact.
It's the power of darkness. Could have been yours, still could, if you open up to it.
Hades! You were just playing me. The darkness will never have me.
Help me. You've gotta...
Yes, we said that Hades was very cunning. And now we're going to fight against Zack again. And, yep. He's going to be a little bit more of a pushover in this battle. But still, if you just use your judgment when fighting against him, then you should be fine. But, yeah, this is one of the times when you want to try and use Ventus's D-Link. But I don't think we're going to be able to get that to open up in this battle. We might be able to, but we'll just have to wait and see. But somehow I think otherwise. That's almost reminiscent of Cloud's Omni-Slash ability in Final Fantasy VII. Since Zack is Cloud's mentor, if you have been following the storyline of the game, well, of the games toward the main entry, and when you take a look at Zack, he almost looks a lot younger than his regular counterpart in Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core. And as you can tell, Zack is the only Final Fantasy character available in this game, and we now defeated him, which gave us a deck capacity increase. But we're not going to see the final scene of this world until the next episode, which we're going to end things off right here. So next time on Double RPG Let's Play with Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, we're going to see the last scene in Olympus Coliseum, finish it up, and then go on to the next world, which is deep space. So take care of yourselves, gamers, and I'll catch you next time. See you guys then.